Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hello and welcome to All Access Pass. My name is Jason. I am your cruise host, and we are here in the Sky Lounge where we will be every single day at 5 p.m. if you choose to come and join us with another one of our fabulous stars here on board. If you're watching at home, or at home in your cabin, which is your home for the next 7 days, you're welcome to do so. If you hear clapping and screaming, we have a live studio audience. You're always welcome to be a part of that. Again, every day, 5 o'clock up here in the Sky Lounge. Today, I am joined by some absolute legends. You've known their music. You've listened to their music for over 50 years. And half of you saw them last night. The other half of you will see them on Saturday night. I was going to say tonight because this will be shown tomorrow. You get it. It's weird. Time like that. On Saturday night, the rest of you will see it. Do me a favor. A big round of applause and help me welcoming the Fifth Dimension. So let's start off with an easy one, and I have to start with you, madam, because you are not only an original member, but so you've been there from the very beginning. But you are an absolute goddess as well. What is it like stepping out on stage with these youngsters next to you here, these kids you got? What's it like getting up on stage with Fifth Dimension and still performing the way you guys do? Because you sounded so good last night. You guys sounded so good.
Thank you, Jason. It's awesome to be on stage with these people because, first of all, not only are they wonderful people, but they're talented singers, and I'm just proud to have them help me carry on the Fifth Dimension tradition.
Great answer. I think it's fascinating I try to do a little research. I know your group obviously very well for various years for different cruises we've done together. But I always do a little bit of research, and I was looking at, interestingly, on Wikipedia, of all places, they have a rundown of members over the years. And Fifth Dimension has had about 97 people come in and out.
Not that many, Jason. I must explain why. It's not just because, well, there maybe been a couple that were fired. But usually it's because, like the young ladies, we had two ladies that got married, and they decided that they didn't want a career. They wanted to be with their husbands. Unfortunately, we did lose a couple that are in heaven.
Yes, ma'am.
But that's why we have so many changes.
Well, I wasn't going to criticize the changes. I was going to say a lot of groups have lost.
A lot of people wonder, well, why?
No.
And actually, the people, they've been with us at least, 5 or more years. Yeah. Most of them, except the one that was fired.
Well, you can't win them all, can you? What I was going to say, what was fascinating to me is I looked at the table of all the different people who've performed with Fifth Dimension. What it does is if you look it up, you can look it up on Wikipedia. It's kind of fascinating.
But don't believe everything you read on Wikipedia.
Well, no. Yeah, don't read the stats, but just the band members, because it shows the names across the top, and then it shows years. Right. And you have one solid column. Just Florence, all the way down. The only one from beginning to end as a member of Fifth Dimension.
And I was the only member who didn't want to join the group.
How'd they convince you to join?
Well, actually, the way I joined, I was in college and working full-time. And I planned on becoming an actress. And I moved to California from a small town in Pennsylvania and didn't know how to go about getting in the movies. So friends entered me into beauty contests, and I was blessed to win, a few. But I won the talent in the Miss Bronze California contest. I won the talent. And a gentleman came up to me. He says, we have a group, and nothing's really happening with the group. And so one of the girls left. She got a very good job at a newspaper. So would you join the group? I said, no. First of all, I'm not a singer. I'm an actress, and I only did it because you had to have some kind of talent in the contest. He bugged me, I said, I can't come. I'm working 8 hours a day. I'm taking 15.5 units in college, getting my teaching credential. I can't come to rehearsals. He finally convinced me. That was Lamont McLemore. He was a photographer for the contest. And that's how I got with the group.
An original member.
An original member, yes. And keep him in prayer. He had a serious stroke. He's doing pretty well. He's living in Las Vegas now.
And when you did decide to join, when he finally harangued you into joining the group, did you foresee that some years later, you would still be performing all this fantastic music with all the success and accolades you guys have had?
Well, first of all, the manager was going to kick me out of the group because I didn't come to rehearsals. I told him I could. Well, I ended up marrying the manager.
Oh, got it.
One way to
You had
solve
some
that.
leverage there then at that point, yeah.
I would not have joined the group if I didn't think it would be successful, but I had no idea how successful or how long.
What was the moment for you where you recognized that you guys had something special? Do you have a moment or a time
You
period?
know, it's like when you're at a job, no matter what you're doing, if you're really involved in it, I don't think you really think about that. You know, we were just enjoying what we were doing and continuing to learn and to grow.
Sure.
So I really didn't think about that, to be honest. Yeah.
That's acceptable. Well, I'm going to ask you another favor, if you'd be so kind. You're sitting next to 4 fabulous artists to your left. Would you do me a kindness and us a kindness? Would you introduce them to people so they know who you're sitting next to?
Okay, as I introduce them, I'm going to ask them to tell you about themselves.
Oh, there we go.
I usually tell about, so I'm going to let them tell you what they want you to know. Because I may tell you something they don't want you to know. On my left, first of all, is Leonard. Leonard Tucker, would you tell the audience what you'd like them to know about you?
Hi, everybody.
You know, those of you who saw the show know that Leonard is an absolutely awesome tenor.
He is.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
What else would you like them to know?
Well, I really appreciate that. And I just want to say really quickly, it's a joy to be here in front of you guys. And you guys make it all worthwhile. There's been times that I feel like, oh, how much more do I want to do this? But every time I get in front of an audience like this on the Flower Power Cruise, it just rejuvenates me to know and to understand why I'm doing this. And so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
And number 2, I just want to real quickly say thank you to this lady right here. 17 years ago, God dog it, I don't know what to say. I've had a wonderful, wonderful career, and I enjoyed 43 years of that career with a woman that passed away 2 years ago, and 22 from cancer. And so this has been an outlet for me she was my number 1 fan. So this outlet, I also want to thank her for the opportunity 17 years ago to take the audition to get the position in the group, to continue and to just help and to be a part of the tradition, the Fifth Dimension tradition in the music that you all love. And so I want to thank you for that. And I'm just a guy that's out there enjoying myself right now in this part of my life. I've reconnected with a friend of mine. I took her to the prom in 1975, and we're kind of just enjoying ourselves right now. God is good, and musically, when I'm not touring, when I'm not out doing that sort of thing, there's jingles I've done. And if anyone has seen the movie Amsterdam, I'm not an actor, but I did get a part in the movie, and I'm singing in that, and it's been a joy. Freelancing my way through, but Fifth Dimension is I think will always be Fifth Dimension, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Great response. Thank you, Leonard.
And one word I would use to describe Leonard would be very professional. What one word would you use to describe yourself, Leonard?
Ooh. I love the...
Dingbat. No.
Okay, think about it.
Fun-loving.
Oh, that'll work. I'll take it.
Loving, okay. And next to Leonard, this beautiful young lady, Miss Patrice Morris.
Ooh.
Patrice.
Another star.
Yes. Would you like to tell them something about yourself?
Well, hello, everyone. Well, I usually say I'm a Mississippi girl, married a California guy, and then I met you all. And my life changed. My husband and I live in Riverside, California. We've been together 44 years.
Congratulations.
We have 3 young adults. I have a son who was in the Air Force. He lives in Germany as a interpreter. Yeah. We have a son an engineer with a railroad company, and then I have a daughter that's a social worker. I'm putting her up for adoption. She just she just turned 35, but she can't seem to leave and stay gone from home. So we have an exciting life. I'm so blessed to be a part of the Fifth Dimension, and I've been with Florence for 15 years, and it has been a blessing. It has been trying because, of course, when you're at this level, you got to get it right. And so, but I'm so thankful to be one of the chosen ones to be with this great group. And of course, when I'm not with the group, I'm a gospel artist.
Oh, there we go.
So I'm the worship leader, elder at my church. And I also do shows. You guys know about Palm Springs, California?
Oh, yeah.
So I do a lot of shows in Palm Springs. My husband is my manager. We live an exciting, busy life. But this one takes the cake. We're so blessed to be a part of the Fifth Dimension and so blessed to have you in our lives.
Oh, great answer.
Well, with Patrice, I can't limit it to one word. With Patrice, I have 2 words.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
The first one is very special because it's also a word for me, and that's spiritual. We pray together, well, the whole group we do, and I'm just really pleased that I have a young lady who is a spiritual and that loves the Lord the way I do. The other one is spoiled rotten.
And she wonders where her daughter gets it this whole time.
Let me tell you, this woman's husband is the nicest guy you ever met, but she can't even find her way through the airport by herself. I mean, she's lost herself. He was supposed to come, and unfortunately he couldn't. He had something to handle. But so,
Yeah, I have
so
issues.
I'm babysitting.
I have issues.
I'm babysitting, she says.
Absolutely, yes.
Patrice was going to fight back, then she thought better of it. She's like, no, I'm not going to.
I'm guilty.
She's guilty and she loves it. It's a wonderful relationship. I wish everyone, we all wish we could have a relationship like that. That's also the kind of relationship that Leonard had with his wife. We're very blessed to have people in the group who've had wonderful marriages and good examples of what God meant for a marriage to be. Next to Patrice is our baby. He's been with us the least. Sydney Jacobs, would you like to tell the audience what you'd like them to know?
Hey, everybody.
I say he's my baby because he's been with us the least time.
Yes, the baby with the gray hair in his beard. I don't know what that's saying for all of us here. It's so great to be here. It's really special. Because you guys know good music.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And the response that we received last night was just heartwarming. And today, you guys have been wonderful. And all of the music that I've sampled on board is fantastic. Anyway, okay. I don't know where to begin. I have been in this group this is my 5th year. And prior to that and currently, I am a jazz singer in Los Angeles, and I do albums and I record and I compose music and arrange music for myself, and now I'm starting to do it for other artists. But prior to that, I was an educational psychologist for 20-some-odd years.
Whoa.
So, always doing music, but had to feed my family. And it's hard to make a living in Los Angeles singing consistently. And one day, the engineer of my 2 albums ago got a call from the music director of the Fifth Dimension. The Fifth Dimension? And they were looking for a male singer. And he said, well, I got the guy for you, so you can tell everybody else to go home. I go to this audition, and Florence is sitting there, diminutive, but she's taking up all the space in the room.
Power, yeah.
She doesn't say a word. I don't remember what I sang. I don't remember this day what I said. And I remember thinking as I was driving home, my brother and my sister, who 10 or 11 years older than me and have gone on, they love the Fifth Dimension. So my entire life, I've grown up singing this music and listening to this music. And I just wanted to let them know that, but, you know, I think they do. Anyway, I got the call, and it's just been an honor to be in this group and to, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but to learn
beautiful.
from all of these individuals. And so when I go back and I sing now, I've learned so much, you know, from being with these people, and I call them my family, that it shows up. So I don't know what more to say. I'm just blessed. And if you see my wife, give her some support, because she has to deal with me on a daily basis.
Is she here?
She's not. No, she's not. She's resting, but she is my moon and my stars. And
She's
I love
also
her.
a judge.
Yeah.
You better speak highly, sir.
I
Don't
have to speak highly
toe
of her.
that line, sir.
I'm also very afraid of her.
Yeah.
So, yes. I have 2 sons myself, grown. I have a stepdaughter who is going to be a superstar in her own right in movies as a director or a producer. We don't know. She's still in college, but I'm predicting great things for her. And I'm just grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to have the energy of you guys when I'm seeing you, and, you know, I can't say enough about these people. They're great.
All right. What's his word, Florence?
Wait, first of all, I have 2 words for
Oh.
for Sydney. You know, I have to tell you something funny about Sydney, though. When he first came, for the longest time, every time I go to introduce him on stage, I forget his last name.
Always. You forgot my first name.
Okay,
Well, you're the baby. You're welcome.
that was it. But the first word is professional. Sydney is very professional. And the second word, I can't think, there's a word I can't quite think of it, so I'm going to have to say open. Sydney is open to learning new things more than anyone who's ever been in the group. He's the only person who's ever been in the group that has called me and come to me for personal help to show him what the Fifth Dimension wanted of him. And he's being such a wonderful and talented performer, I really admire that, because, as I said, most of these people, they have their own careers. The hardest thing people to work with are people who have their own thing going and are successful, I'm telling you, because they have to put that aside, you know, and do what is wanted for the Fifth Dimension. And because they're creative, they have their own ideas about how things should go.
Sure.
So many times they have to put them aside. I try to be open and listen to their ideas. I may not do everything that they say because it may not be exactly the direction I want the Fifth Dimension to go in. But we have some creative people who have a lot of wonderful ideas, and Sydney is one of them. What's your word?
Man, I had time to think about this.
If only the two.
That's not even a fair question to ask somebody. I don't know.
Okay,
What's
think
my word?
about it then. And then on the end,
Yeah. You're done, Sydney. That's it. Baby only gets to deny it twice, and then moving
Right.
right along.
on the end is my problem child. Floyd, Smith,
Yes,
Armstrong,
baby.
whoever
Yes,
you are.
baby.
Oh, yeah. You know, he really has a voice like this, but whenever he's talking, he lowers his voice a whole octave. Anyway, Floyd, what would you like for them to know about you?
Don't be nervous, Florence.
I'm not nervous because I know what's going to happen to you if you don't behave.
Then now I'm nervous. So anyway,
It'll be the Fourth Dimension.
that's true. Anyway, my name is Floyd
Big
Smith.
ocean out there, man.
If you see a body float, you know who threw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The lady. No. Anyway, my name is Floyd Smith. Man, I've been with the group 15 years. Wow, man. It's been 15 years. I've been honored to be in this group. I've learned an awful lot of great things. Had a lot of great mentoring. Of course, my blood pressure has gone up a few times, but at the end of the day, I've had the time of my life. I've been an entrepreneur for over 40 years, concert promoter, entertainment nightclub owner. I have 3 grown kids with 6 grandkids.
Wow.
I have my own residency at Hamul Casino in San Diego as a performer when I'm not on tour with the Fifth Dimension. Most recently, Leonard and I got an audition to do the movie Amsterdam with Robert De Niro and Chris Rock, and we sang the song Lady of Spain in the movie, so we're on the soundtrack. So I'm just honored to be in the group. It's been an incredible journey. I've learned a lot of amazing things. Been blessed to sing with some incredible singers and great mentorship with Ron and Florence. And I've actually learned and grown a lot while I've been in this group, because I've always been a one-man show for over 40 years, and I've had over 100 employees myself. So I know how difficult it must be dealing with me.
I was about to say that.
I don't even, it's just been a great journey, and I have to always rethink everything, because everything I've ever done has always been with me being the boss. So now I have a boss who's smarter than me and absolutely cuter than me. Girl, what's your name? No, just kidding. Anyway, I've had a great time. My name is Floyd Armstrong. Thank you. There you go.
Well, we've established that he's
wait, I
problem
haven't-
child first.
yeah.
Yeah. What are the other words?
You know, the Bible says that laughter is medicine for the soul. If that's true, Floyd is my doctor, definitely.
Because I'm crazy. Mental illness is real.
What other do you have another word other than troublemaker that you would assign, or is that pretty much sums it up?
That she can say? Oh.
This is a family show.
Yeah, well, last week it wasn't. We had a lot of colorful language here last week, so don't be shy. Well, as I was mentioning to you backstage, well, first and foremost,
Oh, but I also want to say
Oh, yes,
that,
please.
I didn't tell you about the most important thing about me.
Yes, ma'am.
First, of course, I love the Lord. But I have one child, two stepchildren, but they call me mom. So I have 3 children. I have I have 3 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren.
oh my goodness. I would never say this. I would never say this about a lady unless I knew for a fact you said it on stage yourself. 81 years young and going strong. Just amazing. Amazing.
I have to tell you, Jason.
Yes, ma'am.
The reason that I tell my age is because I want to encourage people, especially the women. Men can be 80 and be, hot. Women, when they get 40, 50, they start feeling old. And society treats them as though they're old. As a matter of fact, I wrote a book. It's called Grace in Your Second Act, Growing Old Gracefully, Mentally, Physically, and Spiritually. And I'm going to be speaking, I forget which day.
It's in a couple days.
In a couple of days.
After we get past the ports.
I'm going to be speaking about the book, and you can also ask me anything you want. If I don't want to answer, I won't. But I wrote the book because I really want to encourage to live and not just exist. There's a big difference.
Yes, ma'am.
When you're 50, 60, 70, 80, you can live an exciting, healthy life if you take care of yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Great answer. I love that. So, as I was telling you backstage briefly, we allow the audience to come in and fill out question cards as we go. So we'll get to a couple of those as we're moving around here. Steve comes to us all the way from Maryland. He said, when and where does the Fifth Dimension tour? And are you planning anything on the East Coast /DC anytime soon?
Where's Steve?
Where are you, Steve? Where are you? Wave a hand. Right in the front. Oh, nicely done,
Hi, Steve. My, you're not supposed to have favorites, but my favorite sister and her husband live in Maryland. Yes. We perform, I don't know why, mostly on the East Coast. I mean, I like it because I'm from Pennsylvania originally, but we perform mostly on the East Coast. I don't remember the schedule. We accept engagements, I write them down, but I just look at the next month or so. Does anybody up here remember?
We were just in Maryland.
That's true. We were just there. But
Use your microphones, friends. That's why we gave them to you.
We were just in Maryland a few weeks ago,
Right.
about a month ago. So, but we'll be back. We'll be back.
yeah.
Are you guys doing a fairly heavy tour schedule? How many dates a year does the Fifth
It's
Dimension?
not as heavy as you because of COVID.
Sure.
We had 2 years where we didn't work, but those engagements were pushed into the next years. As I said, we'd like to perform on the West Coast more because we wouldn't have to pay all that airfare.
Truth.
But no, I really enjoy performing on the East Coast. So.
Brenna, is that correct? Brenna, is that how you pronounce it? Bryna, forgive me, Bryna. Do you have a memory or a moment of a place that most memorable place you performed?
Okay.
over the years? Let's start with you, Florence, if you don't mind.
Oh.
Let's go back in the day to any time you want. Is there a memorable performance?
The most memorable place I can remember, and I'm like Sydney, I get emotional when I think of this because it makes me realize the importance of what we're doing. We're not just singing. Was the Fifth Dimension was assigned to go on a State Department-sponsored tour of Eastern Europe. And at that time, it was communist. And many things happened, but it's one thing in particular. We were performing, and there were armed guards backstage with dogs to make sure that there was no riots or anything after the show. After the show, the people rushed the stage, and we were frightened because we didn't know what was going to be happening. But they did so because our touch, we were their touch to the free world.
Oh,
And it made us really feel the
that's
importance of
beautiful.
our music.
That's beautiful. That must feel, I mean, you're emotional about it now, obviously. That must feel amazing in the moment because you go from fear and that initial to realizing that it is, you are a beacon of hope for someone in that moment. That must be a very unique and powerful experience.
Yes, because there were, our rooms were bugged. It was very communist. Red tanks were coming down the street with the red flags. What a lot of the people thought that America was like the Cowboys and Indians because that's what they saw.
Yeah.
And they wanted to touch the guys' heads because at that time they had afros. They hadn't seen black people, you know. It was a very interesting experience that made me know that despite all of our problems, no matter what we're going through, this is the only place to live.
Good response. I was very blessed to have a sit down with the Jacksons, and they were telling a similar story about the first time they did Germany, and that Tito, he said, Michael came out and someone grabbed his scarf, and on the other side, someone grabbed the other end of the scarf. We almost lost Michael when he was 9 because everyone was pulling on it. And then Tito himself got stuck on top of a car because they'd never seen black people up front. So they were trying to touch his hair, and they were trying to take pieces of his afro. And so Tito was like jumping up and down on top of a car trying to stay away from people. And I hate to say it this way, but there is a price for that level of fame that people want to be near you. People do want to get a piece of you in some way, shape, or form. But that's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to contribute to a tour or a moment that means something to you? Not everyone has to.
Well, one of my favorites was when we went to Niagara Falls. Number one, because it's so beautiful. Number two, we flew into Buffalo, and when I got to my room at Niagara Falls, I realized that I had left my luggage on the curb. So I'm there, and I'm excited, but the luggage, they take the luggage in, and everything is stacked up, so I know my luggage is there. And I'm waiting for my luggage to be presented to me, and I said, I know I didn't leave the luggage on the curb. The luggage was on the curb, Buffalo Airport. So I had to wait because we had a show, I don't know if it was that night, the next day, and I'm hoping that my luggage would be delivered, but thank God it was delivered and all was well. But it's a beautiful place, and also my husband gets to go with me when we go to Niagara Falls, and it's just beautiful.
That's nice.
I think the real reason Kenny might not be on this trip is because the last cruise, I'm a golf fanatic. Like, I'm a golf freak, right? I love it. I play it all the time. And her husband, he's been playing for a couple of years. Anyway, they had a putting green on the last ship, and they had a putting contest.
Uh-oh.
And he beat me.
Yes, he did.
And so I think he's ducking me. That's why he didn't.
He doesn't want
Yeah.
he doesn't
That's what I told him. He
doesn't want the rematch.
I do have one quick one. I have
Please.
sung all over the world, wonderful stages, orchestras, but my recent incarnation in the music has been singing with trios and singing with horn players and doing really deep dives into jazz. And so when I got this job, if you guys saw the show, it's not just singing, it's like dancing. It's having the mic in the right hand, at the right time. And if you even think about messing up, you're going to get it.
The boss will get you.
So my first performance with this group was at the Ventura County Fair. And it was a complete out-of-body experience. From the time I got onto the stage, first of all, I had never heard sound that sounded that good coming back from the monitors. So my ears were kind of perked up, and I was amazed. There was thousands of people, and I was watching myself perform this stuff. And now I kept thinking, like, 4 steps ahead. Okay, this step, all right, put the mic in this hand. All right, don't sing too loud. Okay, turn. Okay, smile. Look like you're enjoying yourself. So that's what it was the first time.
Smile at the boss. So also, yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Frightening.
Anybody else
you
want to
have-
share? You don't have to. I think I have time if you don't want.
I'll have to
Had a
tell you
wonderful
also,
experience, that's all.
also with some of the greatest experience also was when the Fifth Dimension performed with Frank Sinatra. It was
Yes.
wonderful.
I
You
was
know, you
gonna ask
heard
about that.
stories about, how awful he was. He was the nicest. Of course, he did ask me out, but
Oh.
I don't kiss and tell.
But he was wonderful.
He was he was just such a gentleman. I learned a lot both from him and Sammy Davis.
Well, I wanted to ask you about Summer of Soul, about AKA, forgive the term, it's rudely often called Black Woodstock, obviously. Tell us a little bit about that performance in that time.
People ask us about that performance, but when we did that, we were touring. I mean, really tight, with a really tight schedule. So we didn't meet a lot of the people that were on the show. We did our performance, and then we had to go somewhere else to perform. But it was wonderful to be among so many black people. I'll tell you why. Because when people heard us singing, they thought we were trying to sound white. Because we didn't sound the way they expected black people to sound. Because at that time, Motown was very popular. As a matter of fact, when we first got together, we were singing Motown music because we loved it. But we just sang and used the voices that we had. As a matter of fact, we put a song called I'm Coming Home that one of the black groups recorded, and I was singing the lead. It was the worst thing you've ever heard. I was trying to sound like him, and then I heard the song by Johnny Mathis, and it sounded great. And that's when the Lord told me, there's one Aretha Franklin, there's one Florence LaRue. You use what I gave you and be you. But
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
so Woodstock gave us a chance for people to see who we were and what we were doing. That's just who we. It's funny because when I saw it, I said, "Oh my goodness, I look like a little monkey running around stage." I didn't realize how much energy I had.
That documentary was fantastic. I thought that was such a great, and your part in it. I mean, they said over 30,000 people showed up just for your
And there was
set.
not one fight, no violence. It was just beautiful.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Debbie, who comes all the way from Virginia, will you, Marilyn, and Billy ever perform together again, do you think?
I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Well, it's possible, but they sing together as a duo, and I'm very busy with the Fifth Dimension. It would be nice maybe if they would join us. Maybe we would do a show where the 7 of us would do something. So I don't know.
Seventh Dimension coming to a theater near you at some point. If they're not careful, Fourth Dimension coming to you right after that. Ken would like to know, how did you guys find Jim Webb, or was it the other way around?
Well, the way we found Jimmy Webb was through a gentleman who does not get the proper acknowledgement, and that was our manager, Mark Gordon, who was also my husband, but he was a genius. As I said, when we were practicing, we were singing, Motown music. You gotta smile so bright, doing all that because we loved it, Well, Mark realized that we didn't have that kind of voices, and if we did that, we would never make it. So he had a gentleman that he was managing named Jimmy Webb, and he introduced us to Jimmy Webb, and the rest is history.
Love that. Love that. Rick comes from Toronto, Canada. Do you, Florence, or any of you have any special memories of concerts in Canada?
That was my memory. Close to Toronto, anyway.
I love working in Canada.
Yeah.
Of course, I remember our concerts there, but also I starred in 2 plays, 2 musicals in Canada, and I was ready to move there. The people were so nice. But it was so cold. I starred in a musical called Mo Magic and in Calvary, and they were so nice to me, and it was sold out. It was wonderful. And I was saying, but it was so cold, and I went and my hands were freezing. I said, Lord, if you just leave my fingers on, I'll go get some mittens because these gloves are not working. And they told me it was mild winter.
Yeah, that's the best part.
But
I'm married a Canadian, and I understand wholeheartedly. They're like, oh, this is nothing. You're like, what are you talking about? This isn't nothing.
But they were so nice. Like I said, I was ready to move to, and I still have very dear friends in Canada.
Now, the Fifth Dimension has been voted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. You have Hollywood Star Walk of Fame. You have St. Louis Walk of Fame. You have so many accolades. I mean, and I wrote some of them down just because, I mean, you have 22 top 40 hits. You have 5 number ones, 14 gold albums, 6 platinum albums, 6 Grammys, on and on and on. Do any of the accolades mean something extra to you, or are they all equally special?
It's always nice. It's always great to be acknowledged by your peers, and I really treasure those gold records and all those things. But one night, I remember I was lying in the couch, and I looked on the wall. I was looking at the gold records. They can't hug you. They can't talk to you. So we have to really put them in their proper perspective, and not think that we're all that because we have, all these Grammys and all this. We have to know that it's what's inside of you. But as I said, I'm greatly appreciative for all of those, especially since they're from your peers.
With the legendary career that you've had from start to finish, very simple question. How do you remain so humble? You're very humble. Yes, ma'am. I mean, you may not be to them when you're busting tail, but to us as a superstar, you're exceptionally humble. Yes, ma'am.
I must say it is God. It's my spirituality. I respect all religions, so I'm not here to preach to anyone, but it's God that keeps me grounded because I know what's important in life, and it's not just about winning prizes. It's about how you treat people. As you were saying the other night, that's exactly what life is about. And our music, yes, we enjoy it. Yes, we love the applause. Yes, I'm sure there's a little competition. Oh, I hope they love my song. However, I get chills when I'm thinking about this. We love it when we see people come up and say, I was going to commit suicide, and I hurried up and away, and I didn't. At first, I didn't believe it. I thought, oh, they're just exaggerating. They like the song. But I've heard it more than once. Yeah. So when you know that you're bringing joy to people, we know that everybody here, we know what's going on in the world. But we also know that there are lots of wonderful people doing wonderful things. You just don't hear about it. So it's just a pleasure for us to come up here and make you forget your troubles for a time and just enjoy life. And like I said, to live and not just exist.
Amen. Amen. I have one last fabulous comment from a guest. Is it? I think it might be about. Is this Claire who wrote this? Okay, Claire. Claire says, Florence saw you all in 1969 at the Allentown State Fair. It gets better. I was starstruck, and I never forgot you reaching down and shaking my hand. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for that wonderful memory. Where's Claire? Come get a hug, Claire. You earned one. Please don't pull her off the stage. Nope, don't. Oh, gee, this is how we lose somebody. Careful, be very careful stepping down. Thank you. We don't need that second lawsuit, do we? Whew, it was close. I thought you were about to own the ship, Claire. Thank you so much for taking the time, my friends. Truly, truly, truly. Not only was your first show just fantastic, I know we're all looking forward to, or at least the second half of the crowd's looking forward to, your next show. And I know we all have looked forward to having you here, and we can't wait for your book, to talk about your book and do your one-on-one a little
I
later in
look
the week.
forward to see you all at my book, talking about my book, and I think they have it at the bookstore.
Yes, we do. Do me a favor, everybody. Help me thank this fantastic group. Of course, Miss Florence, LaRue, and all of Fifth Dimension. Thanks for coming, my friends. We'll see you out and about.
Join us for another trip back to the 60s on the 2024 Flower Power Cruise. Our lineup features the legends of the Love Generation, including the Rascals, Tommy James and the Shondells, John Kay of Steppenwolf, Randy Bachman, founder of Bachman-Turner Overdrive and the Guess Who, the Moody Blues' John Lodge, the Family Stone, Gary Lewis and the Playboys, the Grassroots, the Buckinghams, the Box Tops, the Cowsills, the Vogues, cruise host Peter Asher, A Spoonful of Love, and more to be added. Get to know the artists at interactive events, including Q&As and panel discussions, game shows, and more. Plus, travel back to the era of bell-bottoms and tie-dye during nightly theme parties under the Caribbean stars. Departing from Miami March 21st, 2024, on the luxurious Celebrity Summit, and making stops in the beautiful ports of San Juan and St. Croix. Flower Power Cruise sells out each year, so don't wait. You don't want to miss the next grooviest trip at sea.